Hello and welcome to the viewers of this video. This is the Orange Fan here, bringing you another entry for the episode Recap and Thoughts category. This video will be dedicated to episode 43 of Young Justice, The Hunt. We begin this episode at the Warworld on May 27th, where we see that the Reach have secretly been taking over the battle station after Mongol was defeated. The fact that the Warworld is a very large battle station is the reason why the Justice League are unaware of this, even though the Justice League always has members aboard the Warworld in order to guard the key chamber. We soon see that Black Beetle and the Reach scientists are also aboard the Warworld at the moment, and they've placed the crystal key in a stasis cell, in a room that has many stasis cells. Almost all of the Young Justice team members who participated in the mission from the episode War are in these stasis cells as well. We also see these team members' items, weapons, equipment, accessories are in a separate cell. Despero from Cornered is also in a stasis cell, and Mongol himself is now in a stasis cell too. Black Beetle is frustrated that the Reach ambassador refuses to attack the Justice League head-on, because Black Beetle believes that the Reach ambassador's approach with taking over Earth means that the crystal key is useless to them, even though they have it in their possession and that they've been taking over the Warworld. But the Reach scientist says that there is a reason why the Reach ambassador has used the methods that he's using. And they also talk about how there is one loose end they have yet to tie up. Namely, the fact that Arsenal, the one member of the Young Justice team member who participated in the mission from War that wasn't captured, he's still somewhere within the Warworld. And we do see Arsenal as he's trying to escape from several Reach soldiers. We then cut to New York City on May 29th, and we're at the United Nations building where the Reach ambassador is once again being interviewed by the press, and the Reach ambassador is going on about how Blue Beetle is a great hero because he is a human using Reach technology to defend Earth, and Blue Beetle was the one who saved Earth from Mongol using the Warworld. And when a young girl questions why the Justice League weren't the ones who stopped the Warworld, but rather Blue Beetle, the Reach ambassador uses this question as a way to, once again, make the Justice League look bad, because he words his response in a way to make it sound like that the Justice League has a way to attract bullies from other planets. And the Reach ambassador also uses this in order to continue to give the Reach a good reputation with the people of Earth. And the Reach ambassador also says that the Reach intend to give Earth the Warworld as a gift between friends. And the Reach ambassador also adds that the Reach will safeguard but not enter the Warworld until the people of Earth are ready to use the Warworld to defend themselves from other threats. And the next scene takes us to Taos, where we see the Runaways, Virgil Hawkins, Ty Longshaddow, Eduardo Dorado Jr., and Asami Koizumi are going around using their powers to destroy Reach advertisement, essentially. And Ty says that he still wants to rescue his friend from the Reach's control, Blue Beetle. Soon enough, though, they receive a phone call from Lex Luthor, who has something in mind for them. And he says that this will hit the Reach hardest, or yeah, this will really hurt the Reach in a significant way. And the Runaways are very much on board with the idea of hurting the Reach where it really would hurt. We then cut back to the Warworld on May 30th, and we see Nightwing and Miss Martian they're riding in a vehicle in camouflage mode, and they're trying to scan the Warworld in order to try and find their missing comrades. Miss Martian wasn't able to find them with her abilities, but she does mention that the Warworld is a very large battle station, so it's possible that the team members are simply not within her psychic range at the moment. And Nightwing says that the two of them should probably head back to the area of the Warworld where they first went missing, thinking that maybe it will provide them with a lead that they didn't catch originally. So that's where they're going to head off to. And with Arsenal, the charge in his cybernetic arm wears out, so he needs to find a place to recharge his cybernetic arm. But he is able to use the last of its power to distract some of the Reach soldiers, and he's able to steal their weapons in the process, so he has a way to defend himself. Back with the Runaways, they've gone to a building which they've called their home for the time being, and Lex Luthor is talking to them through video chat on a computer, and he also has provided them with a father box, saying that they can use the father box to open up a boom tube portal so that they can enter the Warworld and rescue the Young Justice team members that are captured. And while some of the members of the some of the members of the Runaways are unwilling to board the Warworld, but Virgil actually is the one that says that they should go through with this mission, saying that they owe the Young Justice team members because the Young Justice team rescued them back in the episode Before the Dawn. So the rest of the Runaways agree to go along with this mission that Lex Luthor has given them. We also see that Asami is speaking more English compared to her previous appearance with dialogue, so the episode Runaways, where Asami mostly spoke in the Japanese language. This time we do get to hear Asami speak more English phrases, and she ends up being the one who uses the father box to open up a boom tube portal to take them into the Warworld, where they happen to come across several Reach soldiers. But they're able to get the drop on the Reach soldiers, and we see that the Runaways have greatly improved with their abilities. So they're going through the Warworld hoping to rescue the Young Justice team members. Now, while that's going on, we do see Nightwing and Miss Martian are continuing to investigate, and we do have a scene where they both kind of are kicking themselves because they blame themselves for the current predicament. Nightwing says that he should have figured out that Blue Beetle, Nightwing says he should have figured that Green Beetle had ended up putting Blue Beetle Scarab back on mode, or rebooted Blue Beetle Scarab, and he's saying he should have figured that out sooner. Miss Martian responds, though, that she thinks it's her fault because she was too unwilling to go deeper into Green Beetle's mind because of her guilt over what happened to Aqualad in Before the Dawn. But Nightwing thinks that maybe he should have told others about Aqualad's undercover mission. But Miss Martian then responds that, Miss Martian responds that it looks like they're having a guilt off to see who feels the most guilty. But Miss Martian realizes that beating themselves up over this mess isn't going to solve this, and they need to figure out a way to actually solve this problem, and beating themselves up about it isn't going to help. But then they recognize they recognize a familiar sound, and they soon find out that Sphere is also aboard the Warworld. She must have re-entered it after being sent out of the airlock in the episode War. But the good news is Sphere is able to find where Superboy is within the Warworld, and she activates her super cycle mode, and so Nightwing, Miss Martian, and Sphere all head off to find Superboy. And oh, that's right, I should mention that too. The father box that Lex Luthor gave the Runaways is also able to track Superboy, so that's how the Runaways are going to try and find the Young Justice team members. And while this is going on, the Reach Ambassador has a guest appearance on G. Gordon Godfrey's show, and much to the Reach Ambassador's surprise, G. Gordon Godfrey actually takes the moment to call the Reach out for their lies, because Godfrey points out how the Reach Ambassador originally claimed that the Reach only had one spacecraft that was without weapons and just for peaceful exploration, only for the secret fleet to be revealed when the Warworld attacked. And Godfrey calls the Reach Ambassador out for his lies. Now, back with on the Warworld, the Runaways continue to do well against the Reach soldiers, and Arsenal ends up coming across them when he's fully charged his cybernetic arm, but he doesn't reveal his presence just yet, but he follows them because he hears that they know where the Young Justice team members are, thanks to the father box tracking Superboy. They arrive in the room with the stasis cells, but then they have to fight against Black Beetle. And it's at this point when Arsenal reveals himself, reveals his presence to the Runaways, and he's actually the one who's giving them instructions about how to fight Black Beetle, mentioning that they can't take him on head on, but they can still keep him off balance. And while that's happening, Deathstroke arrives on the Warworld. He has his own father box, and he's able to take care of some Reach soldiers, and he steals the crystal key while Black Beetle is distracted. Eventually, Arsenal actually figures out a way to distract Black Beetle so that they can save the Young Justice team members. He actually frees Mongol from his stasis cell, and this is because Arsenal rightly guessed that Mongol and Black Beetle would go after each other, and they do fight each other. So with both of them being distracted, the Runaways and Arsenal are able to save the Young Justice team members, and they reunite with Nightwing, Miss Martian, and Sphere, and they all try to escape because, they try to escape before Black Beetle and Mongol finish their battle with each other. While the Young Justice team members are boarding Miss Martian's vehicle, Nightwing praises the Runaways for their efforts and thanks them for saving the other young heroes. And Nightwing even offers them a chance to join the Young Justice team. And Arsenal wants to tell Nightwing about Blue Beetle's betrayal, but Bumblebee, she didn't go onto Miss Martian's vehicle just yet. Bumblebee calls out Arsenal for how he opened up the airlock at the end of the episode War and almost got all of the team members killed because of it. Arsenal, though, responds that his actions allowed him to escape, which allowed him to free his team members, and he says that Bumblebee should be thanking him. And Nightwing actually does thank Arsenal for helping the Unjustice team members that were captured, but he also says that Arsenal is off the team for the time being. And the Runaways are surprised by this, saying that Arsenal's guidance was how they were able to help the other heroes. Nightwing acknowledges this, but he also mentions that Arsenal has a track record where he has endangered his team members because of his own agendas or because of his own personal struggles, his personal struggles get the better of him, or because he wants to settle his own agendas, that's gotten in the way. And Nightwing says that Arsenal has no place on the team if he can't be a team player. The Runaways, though, don't take this very well, and they offer Arsenal to join them, the Runaways, and they use the father box to leave the Warworld, and Nightwing is surprised to see that they have a father box. Lex Luthor congratulates the Runaways when they return, but then he sees Arsenal, and Arsenal reveals to the Runaways that Lex Luthor can't be trusted, saying that he mentions how Lex Luthor was responsible for Arsenal being put on ice for 8 years and losing an arm. And Arsenal pieces together that the Runaways, him sending the Runaways onto the Warworld was actually just a distraction so that Deathstroke could steal the crystal key. And we get a funny scene where Arsenal calls Deathstroke a pawn of Lex Luthor's, but Lex Luthor says that the analogy isn't accurate. Deathstroke is more of a bishop. But Lex Luthor says he doesn't understand the problem because he fulfilled his promises to the Runaways. The Runaways respond by destroying the computer in the father box and declaring no more promises. And the episode ends with the Runaways and Arsenal heading off somewhere else. And yeah, that's how we end the episode. So, like Runaways, this episode gives the Runaways a very significant role. Now, the Runaways isn't the actual name of the group. It's just what fans call them from an out-of-universe context. So it's like the Unjustice team. Like, they're not actually called the Unjustice team in the show. That's just an out-of-universe context. Yeah, that's just the name for them in an out-of-universe context for simplicity's sake. That's the same thing here with the Runaways. And like I said, I did think it was a nice touch how we had Virgil Hawkins, Static, and 3 other characters who were re-imaging, they were new interpretations of characters who were created for the show Super Friends. And like I said, I appreciated how they reintroduced those characters, but they reinvented them in a way to make them feel more natural, or perhaps more organic might be the word I'm looking for. But it was nice to see them have a bigger focus, and this episode also gave some significance to Arsenal, and Arsenal did do a good job, but at the same time, Arsenal's freak out with the airlock did cause problems. So it's a case where I understand why Nightwing had suspended Arsenal from the Unjustice team for the time being, but at the same time, I do think Nightwing probably should have waited until after they got back to Earth because the Runaways actually took offense to Arsenal being kicked off the Young Justice team. And granted, they were told why he was kicked off the team, but that didn't seem to convince them. So, yeah, that was a case where I could definitely understand where everyone was coming from, but at the same time, yeah, I do feel like they probably could have handled the situation a little better, or maybe the timing could have been better, is another way to put that. And otherwise, yeah, unfortunately, I think because of Nightwing's bad timing, the Runaways ended up not wanting to join the Young Justice team, and yeah, that was kind of unfortunate. But at least Arsenal helped them to clarify that Lex Luthor was using them for his own reasons. So at least they don't have to worry about being used by Lex Luthor anymore. And there we go. Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, I don't think there really is much else to say. But yeah, it was definitely yeah, we're getting close to the end of the of season 2. We actually have 3